Hi, I'm Linda Deir, and this is...
Ray Holly. Hello, everybody.
All right. So tonight we're going to be talking about making the connection to your spirit guides and angels. Last Wednesday, I introduced the guided journal writing system, a 3-part system. Today, we will be working with My Guided Journey, the second part of the system. Each week, we will take you on your own guided journey, connecting you to your spirit family, those who know you best and are always sending you guidance. This guided journal writing system is a mix of spirituality and unexpected psychology. This week, we will help you make that connection. Since mental illness affects spiritual health, here are some recent facts about the study done on mental health conducted by the National Institute of Health, a major study published in 2017. 1 out of every 5 people have been diagnosed with a mental illness condition. Americans aged 18 to 25 have the highest incidence of mental illness, 26%. Americans aged 26 to 49 are the second highest group of those diagnosed with mental illness conditions, 22%. Only 14% of people over age 50 are diagnosed with mental conditions. However, this group seeks help for their condition more than any other age group. Mental illness causes depression, anxiety, and addictions. Drug addictions are now at epidemic proportions. Just like you didn't come into this life with fears, doubts, beliefs, biases, negative emotions, anger, or hate, you did not come into this life mentally ill either. It's only by going back into your past to see where it started, so you can isolate it, examine it, and realize the truth about what happened and how it has affected your life. Only then can you overcome it and move forward, fully functioning and connected. Today, we will focus on part 2 of the guided journal writing system. Okay, Ray? My Guided Journey, Chapter 1 on Fear. By the way, this is the companion journal to my flagship book, Part 1 of this guided journal writing system, Guided. Okay, so we're working in this today. Why is this important right now in your life? It's because fear limits you and prevents you from living the life you intended before you got here. It freezes you up, keeping you stuck in the past, doubting yourself, taking you out of the present moment, unable to respond to life. When the doubt takes over, it moves into mental illness as fear dominates you. These are the first things my guides showed me about fear as described in Chapter 1 of Guided. Part 1 of the guided journal writing system. Starting with my first memory, a dream I had for the first 35 years of my life, my guides showed me my purpose, people's intentions, along with their reactions to a world to come. They foretold how most people will become fearful when things start to speed up and change. They said, the biggest tragedy of our times is that most people will die having lived fear-based lives. They showed me that people made this life hard when it wasn't supposed to be that way. I remembered how I could do anything once I got here, but I experienced how this scared everyone else. They showed me that my experiences in this life would be very different from those of other people, sometimes the exact opposite. They helped me see how people didn't believe in themselves and were afraid to experience new things. They said I would help the ones who could be reached to get out of fear. From all this awareness, the most important thing I learned was not to take things personally. The byproduct of this is that I trusted myself. As long as I didn't concern myself with what others may say or do, I would be able to see people and things for who and what they were, without judgment. I was seeing like my guides saw. I was becoming more like them. All right, so now that you have a little sense of what we're doing here and how this all started, all right, how I discovered all this and why, why I wrote Guided, why I wrote the companion journal to Guided, and how this can change your life, all right? So, Ray, we have some questions that from last week.
We did.
Yeah.
When you announced this, what was it, last Wednesday night?
Yeah.
We were going to start. Yeah, people started sending some questions in, and a lot of there was quite a few, and I tried to group them as to what they were worried about.
Right. And
because they all had the journal.
Yeah, and what we want to tell you guys is we're going to be doing these each week. We're going to be moving through part 2. There's 3 parts to this journal, My Guided Journey. We're going to be working with part 2, chapter 1 through 18, taking the journey to heal your life. It's in your past. It's in the early life as you came into this life that you got knocked off your path and made some early decisions that you've been conducting your life by ever since, okay? And they weren't the best knee-jerk decisions. I mean, think about it. You were only 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years old when you made those life decisions. You didn't even realize they were that powerful, but they were. And they continue to rule your life, you know? So if they weren't good decisions or the best decisions, that's why you want this journal. And that's why you would want to join us on Wednesdays. So between now and next Wednesday, right here on my Facebook page, 6 p.m. Pacific time, for those of you who have My Guided Journey and you need help in any one of those chapters, send me your email like these folks did. Linda@lindadeir.com. Send me your email with your question, what you're trying to work through, where you're stuck, what you don't understand. And we will, on Wednesday, help you like we're going to help these 2 people, right, Ray?
Right.
Tonight. Okay, so keep that in mind, and we will cover those questions next week. Okay?
Right. We had a lot of good questions. It was tough for me to pick just 2.
Yeah, I bet. That's great, Ray.
Yeah, first one is from Sandy, and both of these are about fear.
Okay. So they line up with tonight, chapter 2, chapter 1 of part 2 of My Guided Journey. Okay.
Fear. Okay. Sandy says, Linda, I'm a 42-year-old single mom with 2 teenage kids. After 17 years of marriage, my husband left me for a younger woman, something I've never gotten over. I'm not desperate as I have a job with a good salary and benefits, and I'm presently able to take care of myself and my kids. The problem is that I'm afraid of the future and what could happen as my kids and I get older. Am I destined to be alone? What if I never find another loving partner? What health demands could I be challenged with? Will I still have a job? Plus, I don't like my job. I feel like I should be getting promoted, but I keep getting passed over. What's wrong with me? Is this what a normal life looks like, and should I just accept it? I'm so angry with myself and others. Sandy.
Okay, well, that again, that's that energy that got stuck back there, and I know it's true. Every single incident has to do with something you forgot that happened that's been running your life, all right? That's this mental illness condition that everybody seems to be getting diagnosed with, and they need this medication, and it just gets them moving in the wrong direction instead of consulting with their guides, making this connection to your guides, and finding out what the source of the problem is, so you can change that, move beyond that. All right, heal that. So, Sandy, I don't know if you're with us tonight live. Can you see who's with us, Ray, on the stream?
Kathy, Mary Beth, Rebecca, a couple other ones.
Okay, so Sandy's not there?
No.
Okay, so Sandy might see this on the replay, but what we're going to do, Sandy, is we're going to bring through your guides on Ask the Universal channel, so they can speak to you about your situation and how it applies to you, all right? Other people, all of you watching this, you may feel like some of this relates to you, and you can apply it to your own life, all right, as you take your own journey through fear in part 2. So, but this is really directed at Sandy today, and we use this talking board. This is one of the ways that you connect with your guides. It's not the only way. I mean, you can do it in many ways. You can do it by writing. You'll see how they infiltrate your writing. You really will. Your guides are always with you, sending you guidance. So they're always there. You can receive it in your dreams. You can be driving your car. Bam! Get that one-liner in the shower, washing the dishes, mindless stuff. That's when the guides come through, because you're out of the way, you know? So this is how we do it with an active. This is a proactive. Yeah, this is our tool. In fact, it had its 30-year anniversary.
30-year anniversary. Happy anniversary.
This year. So, and this tool is, in 1988, my guides came to me in my first channeling session. I had never been to one before that. And they came through and asked me to create this, and that they would show me how they wanted it to function and look and be in my dreams. There's a whole story around that. So this is what we use so that you can have a conversation with your own spirit guides and angels. All right, that's how we do this. And Ray is the one who speaks out their messages. All right, and breathe. Anytime you want to bring your guides through, release all the expectations, right? Release the tension around anything, and most of all, around the outcome. Just let it all go. Your spirit guides and angels are here with us now, Sandy, and they're going to talk to you about your question.
Sandy, we see only one fear here. That fear is feeling that you are not good enough. This is the fear that affects all aspects of your life. This fear didn't start later on in your life. It didn't start with your husband's affair, with your job situation, any type of worries about your health, or anything that now bothers you and gives you anxiety. Up until now, you have just been missing our guidance. It started long ago when the connection to us was broken. Up to 42 years old, you have been missing this connection that you came into this life with. When you came here as a baby, a new person, you were connected to us stronger than at any time in your life. Everything that happened along the way, your husband's affair, the job dissatisfaction, the fear and anxiety about the future, are all guidance from us, poking at you, nudging you to get your attention about this matter, thinking you are not good enough. Your soul came here this time to work out this aspect of yourself. The only thing that gets you to heal is knowing that you came into this life good enough because you were connected. You came in connected to those who chose to follow you here into this life, your soul family. And then something happened. Ever since that moment of disconnection, you became afraid. You started doubting, and increasingly you felt not good enough.
Okay, Sandy. Once you heal the problem, the connection to your guides becomes a byproduct of the healing. The connection doesn't need healing. You do. So once you heal what this is, once you really fully understand what this is, and you write in your journal in part 2 on fear, you write down what that first fear twinge was, what that first panic was, what that first feeling was. You write it in there so you can really see what it is. And then it's a 4-step process. You write it down. You write down how it felt. You write down what you realized. And then the most important thing, you write down the action you intend to take. There's always an action that follows up with the realization, the awareness of it now, okay? And for you, when you do this and you write it down there, and if you at any time along the way you feel stuck or you feel like you're still not getting it or you need more help, go to my website. At the top, you'll see coaching. Click on that and schedule a session with me. And it's intimate. It's real. The guides will tell you exactly what's going on when you write it out, and we have something to work from. And they get in there and really dig into this with you and expose that boogeyman in the closet that's hiding out. Help you go there in this conversation you have with them. All right. So that's how, if you need more momentum to move through this, it gets more personal. Not the kind of thing we would want to really expose you to in a public forum like this, okay? But there's something in there, and you did a great job of explaining it.
She did. So so to get this straight, now she's 42 now, and she feels that she's not good enough. But the first time that somebody made her feel not good enough could have been when she was 5 years old.
Oh, it did. It was. It happened so long ago. And what happened is, it's not that they told you that you were not good enough. It's how you wound up feeling from the situation. It made you feel defeated. It made you feel like you weren't good enough. It's not that they told you that. The situation just brought that out of you. And of course, you come into this life with these things that we all do that need healing. One of the reasons you came here, one of your core reasons, is to work through this I'm not good enough feeling. And the only way you're going to find it is to find yourself, is to bring yourself back from those early days, that connection when you still had it with your guides, all right? That's when you're going to find it. And it might even make you mad. There, a lot of times in chapter 1 of my guided journey, when people reach into the fear part, it makes them mad because they realize they took things on that weren't theirs. They felt shame for what was going on around them, the family members or whatever, and they wanted everyone to get along, and you kind of threw yourself in the flames. You kind of, you were the sacrifice, so to speak.
Well, I can relate to that. I'm thinking about it as you're talking, and I'm looking back in my own life at grade school, elementary school, where I had these flashes of I wasn't good enough, and it was when they were picking teams on the playground. Two captains of the team, and they'd pick, and this one pick, and this one pick, and this one would pick, and down to the end of the pick, and I'm still standing there.
Wow. And so what happened from that, Ray? I mean, they didn't pick you, but maybe they...
Well, it made me angry, like you said.
It does.
So if I didn't get picked for the game, I'd still be out on the playground. And when the ball rolled over near me, I'd throw it over the fence.
You took that game away.
See? Go chase your ball.
It's interesting, you guys, how this all plays out and how it follows us, and it starts to control our lives, all right? But it's not funny. I mean, when we're struggling with it like this, it is not funny. It's something that needs to be worked out. It really does,
I think the way I handled it throughout my life, regardless of anywhere I would face a situation where that could have crept back in, where, well, you're just not good enough.
Yeah.
Is that I never thought about good enough as good enough. I always thought about as if you're doing your best, that's what you should do. Do the best you can do, and then you're always good enough.
Yeah. So you realized that by yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like in music, I think. Not everybody can be the world's greatest musician or greatest baseball player. Or
right. And in music, you were a good musician, but you weren't the best.
Yeah. In that same example, well, they never picked me in elementary school, went to play ball on it. But I played on the only Little League team that went to the state championships. I was a starter.
Yeah, see, people underestimate you. And I'll guide it, they underestimate me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my secret weapon was I had this relationship with my guides, and those family members didn't know it.
You never told anybody?
I never told anyone until I wrote the book.
I was the first one you ever told.
Yeah.
60 years later.
Yeah, I know. Well, 52 years
52 years later.
Yeah, that's right.
You still didn't tell me all your secrets.
No, I didn't.
Have you told me all your secrets now? Most of them?
I think so. Okay, so anyway, Sandy, if you need more help with that, get a hold of me. Go to my website and schedule a session. We'll really dig into it and have a private, intimate conversation with you and your guides. All right?
It'll be shocking.
We'll do it right like this, right over Zoom.
Yep.
In a private session.
Right.
Yeah, you'll get a lot more out of it. They'll really get in there because we don't know, but your guides know. You know why they do? They were there with you. They're always with you. They were there with you when you went through all that. They were there with you the moment you felt that you weren't good enough. And they went, okay, well, this is one of the things she came here to heal. So they're there. They're standing by, ready to help you. You just need to learn how to either make the connection or come to us, and we'll connect you with your guides. and they'll have that conversation with you.
A lot of people think, especially with relationships, that they're not good enough. It's not just about...
That's a big one, right?
Yeah, well, it was reinforced with her. Her husband left her.
For a younger woman.
Wasn't good enough. She got passed over for promotions.
Right.
Wasn't good enough.
By the way, I want you to know something, Sandy. As soon as you find out what the core of the problem is, what the root of this problem is, from having this connection in this intimate conversation with your guides, as soon as you find out what it is and you go, oh my God, and then you write it in here, okay? You write all that in here in part 2, chapter 1, fear. You write all that in there, what happened, how it made you feel, what you realized, and now you can do something about it, okay? Because you understand the whole thing. You got the whole picture here.
Yeah, you brought it out. You brought it out of the ethers and how it's been jabbing at you all your life. You wrote it down so you can look at
it. Exactly. And here's my point. Once you achieve that whole process, you get through that process and you've got it, you've identified it, you've got the whole thing there, what's going to happen? And you completely connect with it and you become self-realized. Now you're empowered. I will tell you something. Every problem that you mentioned in your email, the issues you're having about not being good enough, the husband that went off and took off with a younger girl, all these things that you attracted, actually you attracted these things to you as your guides were trying to get your attention to get you to heal this deficiency that was limiting your life, that kept you frozen back there in time, all right? As soon as you realize it, okay, and you no longer feel like he cheated on you, okay, with a younger woman, you're going to go, okay, I see now the reason why that happened. I see that was in perfect order in order to get my attention. And now that I see what it is, it doesn't even hurt me anymore. I don't connect with it at all. He took off with a younger woman.
He cheated on himself.
It's exactly.
He didn't cheat on her.
That's right, Ray. He did. He cheated on someone else. He cheated on himself.
On himself.
Right. And you're not gonna take it personally. See, he cheated on himself. That's not taking it personally. That's clean. Now you have no energy attracting that, pulling that back to you, so that it's your guide's only way of getting you to pay attention. And now that you paid attention, you wrote the email to us, we talked to your guides, they talked with you, and if you want to pursue it further, you know what to do. You will have released that energy and you will have no need for it anymore. It's just the way the universe works. You don't need to pull it to you because the lesson has been learned. It's been solved, all right? And your life will change. Now you will attract somebody who you feel good enough and they feel good enough. You're confident and you're empowered, and somebody that they really respect, somebody that they admire, somebody that's their equal, somebody that they can live their life with and really have a full life, not somebody dragging a leg because they're not good enough.
Yeah, you keep thinking that you're not good enough, you'll attract people to you that think they're not good enough.
And it's not to be mean to you. It's not to hurt you and make you feel bad. It's to get your attention. It's the way the universe works. They do that so that finally, are you listening? And you are. And you're going to get this, okay? You are. Okay, who do we have next, Ray?
We have Jeremy.
All right.
Jeremy says, Linda, my problem is risk-taking. I know I'll never get ahead, in quotation mark, I'll never get ahead unless I take risks. But I'm afraid. When is the right time to take the risk? Do I have enough experience? Shouldn't I be older and more settled before I decide to jump into something that I could fail at? Why?
That he could what?
That he could fail at. Why?
So he's already got his mind made up.
Right, but he doesn't have enough experience to take a risk.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's afraid.
So he's very fearful.
Why am I so confused, Jeremy?
Okay, is Jeremy on with us, Ray? Take a look at the feed.
people from all over the world with us, but not Jeremy.
Okay, so what's going on? These guys sent me these emails, and can they be watching us without them showing up on the feed? I think they can.
They'll probably watch. They could if they watch the replays.
Okay, so he's probably going to watch us. He's maybe at work, or I don't know what's going on. But anyway,
He's sleeping.
Yeah, we're going to have Jeremy's spirit guides and angels speak to him about his situation. Now, this could be true for a lot of people, but this message is directed at Jeremy. And Jeremy, your spirit guides and angels are here with us now, and they're going to talk to you about what you're going through. And here they go.
Jeremy, when did you stop believing in yourself? When you came into this life, until proven otherwise, you always believed you could do anything. As a baby, you learned through self-realization. That is, if you were curious about something on the other side of the room, you crawled over to it to experience it. You didn't worry that it could be risky. It was learning through doing. You learned what was safe to experience and what was not. This way, you developed risk levels. Somewhere along the line, you got disconnected from this guidance. You began to doubt the learning process. You started becoming afraid of taking a risk. This is something you learned to do, a belief that someone taught you. If you had come in to this life with this belief, you would still be crawling around on your hands and knees.
They have a sense of humor, you guys.
They do. You must go back through your life to the time when you stopped believing in yourself. Only then can you study it to analyze what happened and how it's affected you from that point on. Once you heal this, you will start believing in yourself again. You will also become grateful for who you are and what you have. You will stop worrying about getting ahead, which stems from a belief in lack and is rooted in a posture of greed.
Because you know what? When you lost that connection to your guides, when you were really young, okay, and you started feeling this lack, really, would you sum it up like that, Ray?
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of lack, and just you don't believe in yourself. Who are you? You don't even remember who you are. You know? When that happens, when that shock hits you, fear can only happen when you forget who you are. That's the only way it can be there. So as soon as you remember who you are, you go back to the journal in part 2, chapter 1, and you remember who that little guy was that got feared out of his life, okay? Feared out of your life. Imagine. That's been with you all these years, making you feel lack, making you feel like, what are you doing? Why can't you get ahead? Sending you all the wrong messages, because those messages come from outside of you. Your soul would never say, Jeremy, you need to get ahead. It's not a question. It's not why you came here. You understand that, Jeremy? It's not why you came here. But you did come here to solve this lack. Get his email back out, Ray. Mm-hmm. How did it start out again?
My problem is risk-taking. I know I'll never get ahead unless I do take a risk.
Okay, so it's not about getting ahead. The answer is contained in this fear capsule of you resisting, okay, of you being cautious, okay. I want you to know that there's another chapter in here, part 2. In your particular case, Jeremy, it's going to be the one on chapter 8, when you became cautious. That's another one that ties right in to your particular situation. So you have 2 chapters here that's going to work you through this confusion, is what I want to call it, and this energy that's followed you up to this time that you're tired of carrying. You're sick of it. If you weren't sick of it, you wouldn't have sent me this email. You wouldn't be ready to resolve it if you weren't sick of it. And if you want to know what that is, getting in there, digging in there, and have this conversation with your guides where they really work with you and get you into the root of the problem, go to my website, lindadeir.com, and click on coaching and schedule a session.
Yeah, the guides will take you right back to the exact first time you ever got leery of taking a risk. Because the whole baby thing is interesting. Babies don't have very many fears. Babies are afraid of loud noises. Babies are afraid of falling down.
That's interesting. We just discovered that. I'm going to say it came through a session about a month ago, right?
Or so, yeah. Babies only have 2 fears.
That is the most amazing thing.
They're afraid of falling down and they're afraid of loud noises. But that's about it. But they aren't afraid of taking a risk. Or they've never learned how to walk.
Okay, but the reason Ray's bringing this up is that capsule that you're in that's got you, okay, that you can't move past, that you can't live your life, that you're stuck or frozen. It could very well be something that as simple as something you did where you fell and you really hurt yourself or something, or what's the other one?
You could have burned yourself on something.
Okay, so one is
loud noises, and
the other one could be somebody that screamed at you really loud, and it caught you off guard, and it happened in such a way that it made you doubt yourself. Okay, you forgot who you were. The connection you had to your guides was severed right there. It shocked you out of it. Maybe somebody came up to you and said, "Who are you talking to?" You were talking to your guides. You were having this conversation with your elusive friends. All right, and somebody said something to you in the middle of it, in your bliss, you know how that feels. It feels like somebody threw cold water right in your face. It's like catches you off guard. Something happened that really took its toll on that little boy, all right? And that's what needs to be healed. That's what needs to be resolved.
The whole baby thing. Babies might come in being afraid of falling down, but they don't come in with any fear of risk.
Not at all.
They'll fall down hundreds of times before they can stand up and walk.
Well, that's right. They do.
They take that risk over and over and over. You know, they take a risk of crawling across the room and touching something they see, and maybe it's hot.
But something shocked Jeremy. Something
Right.
pulled you out of your blissful moment and just truly shocked you, okay? And it stopped you. And you've been stopped out ever since, thinking something's wrong with you. The only thing wrong with you is your energy got stuck in that time capsule. And you have to go back there. You have to find out what it is, and so you can release it. If you don't have that realization, that if you don't understand what it is, you can't have that realization, so you can release it, and you can get your life back, all right?
And get the connection back.
That's exactly right.
It could happen anytime. It doesn't have to happen when you're very small. It could happen. A boss could have done it to you. You ever do that again?
It could
You're
have
fired.
been. It could have been. It could have been a teacher.
Right, teacher or a boss. Yeah.
It could have been. But only you and your guides know. They're with you all the time, so they were there when it happened. And they've been trying to get your attention ever since. Look at all the things he's been through.
Yeah.
They're trying to shoot you with a little bit more pain there, so you finally get to the point where, I got to get the answer to this. It's really, really shutting me down. I need to know what this is. You get to that point where you just surrender, and you're ready.
Yeah, there's a point. The fear just doesn't jump up one day, and you're afraid to take a risk after that. It creeps up on you. First, before the fear comes the doubt.
That's right. That's exactly.
You start to doubt yourself.
Yeah, and when I was talking in this in the opening message before we started tonight, I was talking about the doubt and how the guides come through. They described all this to us over the years, throughout my life. And when you have doubt's not good, but it gets worse than doubt if you don't solve it in the doubt process. Because then, if you don't pay attention to it and you don't resolve the doubt, it turns into fear. And fear is where the mental illness resides.
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. That's why I read those statistics.
That's a scary study, by the way.
Yeah, so, these kind of things, you think, well, taking the journey and, reading guided and working through this, it sounds like, it might be fun. Well, it's really life-changing. It'll keep you from suffering, mentally suffering. Another day, forgetting who you are, letting fear take you over,
Hundreds of people have, since we've been working on this, the beta version for over a year, and then this came out in the fall, hundreds of people have worked with this journal.
Yeah.
Not one person has used that word to describe it. Fun.
Right. Oh, no, I know. They haven't.
This is
by the time in other words, what Ray's saying is by the time people have read guided, they always start out reading guided, and it wakes them up, all right? And then they get this. They realize where they got stopped out, and they haven't had fun, and their life has been work and hard.
Struggle.
Okay? And struggle, right. That's why they joined us, got this. We've worked with them over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And how they're healing their lives and they're empowering themselves from taking the journey. Some people they'll go in and they'll resolve issues in a couple of chapters, and bang, they pull right out of it. Okay. Some people need to go through most of the chapters or all of the chapters. We recommend that you go through them all because there's still residue from that early impact that stopped you out, that affected the rest of your young life, that, interrupted you, that you could still get hung up on, all right? So you want to really take the entire journey in chapter 2 to make sure you got this worked out and you are fully functioning and connected. You're not missing anymore. Your guides, they're right there. It doesn't happen by making the connection. It happens by you healing what happened to you so the connection can come back.
Right.
All right?
And there's 18 chapters that you go through. Fear just happens to be the first one.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the one that people have a lot of problems with. That's the toughest one.
That's where it starts.
I couldn't do it.
I know.
I started at what, 13 or 14. I'm just looking at the table of contents. I said, well, I can start here and work backwards.
So what happens, that's right. So what happens, like with Jeremy, he realizes that this is a fear where, what is it? Risk. Okay. So he needs to take a look at chapter 8 as well, because that's where he became cautious, and it ties right into that fear. It's just another place where it plays out, and we all felt caution to some degree, but I would say that Jeremy felt it more than most people.
Yeah, you just didn't one day decide, well, I'm not going to take any more risks. You became cautious about something or multiple things.
And then just to finish my thought on this, how one chapter leads to another. When the fear that he's talking about is the fear of risk. So fear, of course, applies chapter 1. Becoming cautious makes a lot of sense, where he would need to look into that. Another one would be rebellion. Okay, he has this fear, he becomes cautious, and he's angry, and he becomes rebellious. So he pushes back, all right? And then he feels this separation, which really feels like he's alone, all right? So these chapters, it's like a daisy chain. Once you get one worked out, you go, oh my God, okay, I really do need to look at caution. When did I become so cautious? Why am I so cautious? Afraid to take risks. And it just starts to light up, and you see the whole thing as it shows itself. It's not an effort anymore, you guys. Once you open one of these chapters up and you have that epiphany, it's just you're ready to see the rest of the story, your story.
Especially the fear stuff. Once you write it down, you look at it.
Ooh.
Hence that saying, face your fears.
Yeah, it's true. Because they will follow you around until you do resolve them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, Ray. So
next week,
yeah.
So we want some more questions.
That's right. Next week, join us right here on Facebook Live at 6 p.m. Pacific Time on my Facebook page, Linda Deir Author, as we take you deeper into this guided journal writing system, experience of awakening, restoring the connection to your spirit guides and angels. So send me those emails, linda@lindadeir.com, on any one of the chapters in my guided journey. Go in there, and if you guys have the journey now,
if you don't have it, go out and get it.
Yeah, go out. It's on Amazon, and it's $10.95 or something like that, you guys. And you can only get it in a paperback version because you write in it. It's a journal, right? So let me know. Just send me an email about what chapter in part 2 you need help with. Explain your situation. You can even ask me to use a fictitious name if you feel like you need me to do that. I'm happy to do that. But you know who you are. And you'll join me next week, and we'll flesh that out. We'll work that out, okay? Don't hold on to it. Let us help you work through this. Let your guides help you move that way and light up the dark spots, the blind spots in your past.
This is so much more than a journal. People hear the word journal and all they think is, well, it's like a diary, only a little more intense.
No, this is designed. If you've read Guided, you'll understand. When you read, then you get My Guided Journey. You're going to know that this guided journey is completely designed for the readers of Guided who got it.
That's your journey.
Right.
Guided tells everybody in the world about your journey, and you didn't hold anything back. So they see, by you doing that, they can see what was possible.
Right.
But this is your journey.
Right.
Okay, there's little feet. You ever see those little feet down there? There's little feet at the bottom walking backwards. And that means this is a trip back into your life, how it works. And then part 3 of the 3-part guided journal writing system is my journal writing.
That's after
Right.
you took the journey.
And this is just
entries you make
all the same. This
throughout.
Once you finish this is how you can continue to track it. Hopefully you'll fill up a lot of these.
And it's how you, what?
Oh, the little feet are going the other way. They're going this way. That's your journey forward.
And so what's it say right here? Wait.
Your roadmap to consciousness. This one says, my guided journey of self-discovery and personal transformation includes 19 MP3 audio support downloads. Wow.
I know. There's a lot there. And 19 videos for each chapter on my website. All the links are in there to walk you through each chapter before you start taking the journey. So any chapter you need help with, go to my website. Go to my website, lindadeir.com, and at the top, click on blog. When you get to the blog page, under categories, click on 1, My Guided Journey, and go in there, and go all the way down to the bottom to start with the first one, Deir. And any chapter that you're going to start working in, watch the video associated with that chapter in that category before you start writing in your journal. And then, if you still need help, send me an email. Let me know what chapter that you need help with. Send me a little description of what it is you're having a problem with, and we will work on it on Wednesdays. Okay?
That means your guides.
That's right. Your spirit guides and angels, having this conversation with them. All right. So join us next week right here on my Facebook page, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And Ray and I are going to help you with your journey.
Right.
And get you guys back fully functioning and connected and living your life fully. Okay?
No more fear-based lives.
No more.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night, you guys.
See you soon.